Have you ever felt your heart beating so fast it feels like it might burst out of your chest? The darkness of night falls, and with it comes that familiar feeling. The house is quiet, maybe too quiet. Everyone else seems to be sleeping peacefully. But for you, the night has become a battlefield. Your mind races with thoughts that wouldn't dare show themselves in daylight. What was that pain in your chest earlier? Is your breathing normal? Will you wake up tomorrow? These fears might seem irrational in the light of day, but in those quiet hours between midnight and dawn, they become your entire reality. For millions of seniors over 70, nighttime doesn't bring rest. It brings a special kind of torment that many suffer through in silence. The ceiling becomes a movie screen where worst-case scenarios play on. The ticking clock becomes an ominous reminder of time passing, of mortality, of all the things left undone or unsaid. That pain in your leg, is it just a cramp or something more sinister? Should you call someone? But who would want to be bothered at this hour? And what if it's nothing? You'd feel foolish, so you lie there, alone with your thoughts. As minutes stretch into hours, the anxiety feeds on itself, growing stronger with each worried thought. Your body responds as if you're in actual danger, heart racing, muscles tense, stomach churning. Sleep feels impossible, like trying to relax in the middle of a storm. And then comes the worst part, the worry about not sleeping itself. You calculate the hours until morning, knowing that another day of exhaustion awaits. You worry about how this sleeplessness will affect your health, your cognitive ability, your independence. It becomes a vicious cycle, anxiety preventing sleep, and lack of sleep worsening it. Many seniors experience this nightly struggle but rarely speak about it. They were raised in generations where mental health wasn't discussed openly, where strength meant suffering in silence. Some have lived with for decades, assuming it was just their nerves, their nature, never realizing that what they're experiencing has a name, has causes, and most importantly, has solutions. What many don't realize is that nighttime anxiety in seniors over 70 often has unique triggers and manifestations that differ from anxiety in younger adults. It can be intertwined with physical health concerns, medication side effects, or existential questions that become more pressing with. But here's the truth that leading psychiatrists want you to know. This suffering is not inevitable, not necessary, and not something you should face alone. There are answers, there are strategies, and there is hope, even if you've been struggling with these feelings for years. Thank you so much for joining me today on this important journey into understanding nighttime anxiety, especially as it affects those in their golden years. I'm truly grateful that you've chosen to spend this time with me, exploring a topic that touches so many lives yet remains shrouded in silence and misunderstanding. Your presence here means everything, because it shows your commitment to either understanding your own experiences better, or helping someone you care about who might be suffering in silence. The courage it takes to acknowledge anxiety and seek information about it is something I deeply respect. Many of us were raised in generations where discussing mental health challenges was discouraged or even considered taboo. Breaking that silence is an act of bravery, and I want to acknowledge that first and foremost. Whether you're watching this for yourself, for a parent, a grandparent, or a friend, know that you're taking an important step toward better understanding and more peaceful night. The information we'll explore today comes from extensive research, interviews with leading geriatric psychiatrists, and the lived experiences of thousands of seniors who have found their way to calmer nights. I believe that knowledge is power, especially when it comes to understanding our own minds and bodies. The insights I'll share with you today have the potential to transform those long, difficult hours of darkness into periods of rest and renewal. Let me explain what makes this conversation different from others you might have encountered about anxiety. First, we're specifically focusing on nighttime anxiety in seniors over 70, not general anxiety, not anxiety in younger adults, but the unique experience of anxiety that emerges or intensifies during nighttime hours for older adults. This distinction is crucial because the causes, manifestations, and effective treatments can differ significantly from what works for other age groups. Second, we're approaching this topic with compassion and scientific understanding, rather than dismissing these experiences as just part of aging or something to be expected. For too long, the mental health concerns of older adults have been minimized or overlooked entirely by both society and sometimes even healthcare providers. Today, we're challenging that narrative with current research and insights from geriatric psychiatrists who specialize in treating anxiety in older adults. Third, we'll be exploring practical, accessible strategies that acknowledge the realities of life as a senior. Strategies that don't require dramatic lifestyle overhauls or complex interventions, but rather gentle adjustments that can yield significant improvements in quality of life and sleep. Throughout our time together, I'll be sharing not just information, but also stories of real people who have navigated these same troubled waters and found their way to shore. Because sometimes knowing you're not alone in your experience can be as powerful as any medical intervention. Now let's talk about what we'll cover in today's exploration of nighttime anxiety in seniors over 70. First, we'll discuss why anxiety often increases or manifests differently at night for older adults. We'll examine the neurological, psychological, and environmental factors that can turn the time of rest into a time of distress. Understanding these mechanisms can help remove some of the mystery and fear surrounding these experiences. Second, we'll explore the connection between physical health and nighttime anxiety in seniors. How certain medical conditions, medications, and even normal age-related changes can contribute to or mimic anxiety symptoms. This is particularly important because many seniors and even their doctors sometimes attribute anxiety symptoms to physical causes only, missing opportunities for comprehensive treatment. Third, we'll discuss the unique psychological aspects of aging that can fuel nighttime worry, from existential concerns about mortality to practical worries about independence and dignity. These are natural human concerns that can become magnified in the quiet and darkness of night. Fourth, we'll examine how isolation and life transitions common in older adulthood can create fertile ground for anxiety to take root and flourish, particularly during nighttime hours when the absence of daytime distractions allows suppressed worries to surface. Fifth, we'll share what leading geriatric psychiatrists want seniors to know about the treatability of nighttime anxiety, the approaches, therapies, and interventions that have shown particular promise for this specific population. Sixth, we'll provide practical, accessible strategies that can be implemented tonight, simple yet effective techniques for calming the mind and body when anxiety strikes in those dark hours. And finally, we'll discuss when and how to seek professional help, including how to advocate for yourself or a loved one in a healthcare system that sometimes overlooks the mental health needs of older adults. Let's begin by understanding what happens in our minds and bodies as night falls, particularly for those over 70. There's a fascinating neurological reason why anxiety often intensifies at night, and it has to do with how our brains evolved. For our ancestors, nighttime represented genuine danger, predators, enemies, and the vulnerability that comes with reduced visibility. Our brains developed heightened vigilance during darkness as a survival mechanism. In modern times, this ancient wiring remains, but instead of scanning for predators, our heightened nighttime alertness often turns inward, scanning for threats within our bodies or our lives. For seniors, this natural tendency can be amplified by several factors. First, the aging brain processes neurotransmitters differently. Research has shown that the production and regulation of serotonin and gamma-aminobutyric acid, GABA, brain chemicals that help regulate mood and promote calmness, often change. This can create a neurochemical environment more conducive to anxiety, particularly when external stimulation decreases it. Second, many seniors experience changes in their sleep arc, the natural progression through different sleep stages. With age, sleep becomes lighter and more fragmented, with less time spent in deep, restorative sleep. This means more time in lighter sleep stages when worrisome thoughts can more easily intrude and wake the person. Third, circadian rhythm shifts are common in older adults. Many seniors find themselves getting sleepy earlier in the evening and waking very early in the morning, sometimes well before dawn. This can create long periods of wakefulness during the darkest hours, when the rest of the world is sleeping and there are fewer distractions from anxious thoughts. Fourth, sensory changes that come with aging can contribute to nighttime unease. Diminished vision can make shadows seem more ominous or make it harder to identify sources of sounds, while hearing changes might cause some environmental noises to be missed, while others seem amplified. All these natural age-related changes create a perfect neurological storm that can transform darkness from a time of rest to a time of restlessness. Beyond these neurological factors, there are important psychological dynamics at play. Nighttime removes many of the distractions and activities that keep our minds occupied during daylight. For seniors who may already have fewer structured activities and social engagements than in their younger years, this nighttime void can be particularly without the buffer of daily tasks, conversations, television, or other activities. Suppressed worries and concerns have room to surface. Many seniors report that thoughts they can easily dismiss during busy daylight hours become overwhelming obsessions. There's also the matter of control. Daytime offers a sense of agency, the ability to call someone, go somewhere, or do something in response to anxiety. Nighttime removes many of these options. A senior might hesitate to call family at 3 a.m., even when anxiety is severe. This perceived lack of available support can intensify feelings of vulnerability. The darkness itself can become a metaphor that the mind latches onto, with night representing uncertainty, the unknown, or mortality itself. For someone in their 70s, 80s, or beyond who may already be contemplating life's big questions, these symbolic associations can fuel existential anxiety. Additionally, pain or physical discomfort often feels more intense at night, partly due to fewer distractions and partly due to physiological factors. For seniors managing chronic conditions, This nighttime amplification of symptoms can trigger anxiety about their health status. And finally, there's the worry about sleep itself. Many seniors become acutely aware of their need for restorative sleep for their health and cognitive function, which creates performance anxiety around sleeping. The more they worry about not sleep, the more elusive sleep, a frustrating paradox that many older adults know all too well. Environmental factors also play a significant role in nighttime anxiety for seniors. Many older adults live alone, and homes that feel comfortable during daylight can seem vast and empty after dark. Unfamiliar sounds or creaks in an older home might trigger startled responses or worry. For seniors who rely on hearing aids but remove them for sleep, the resulting silence can be disorienting or amplify internal sounds like heartbeats or tinnitus. Temperature regulation becomes more challenging with age, and being too cold or too hot during night hours can contribute to physical discomfort that fuels anxiety. Many seniors also experience nocturia, the need to urinate multiple times during the night. This not only disrupts sleep but can create anxiety about falling during nighttime bathroom trips, particularly for those with mobility challenges. For seniors in care facilities, nighttime can bring different challenges: unfamiliar staff during night shifts, the sounds of other residents in distress, or institutional lighting that doesn't adequately account for the importance of darkness in promoting sleep. Understanding these neurological, psychological, and environmental factors helps explain why so many seniors find themselves caught in the grip of anxiety as the sun goes. But knowledge is just the beginning. It's what we do with this understanding that makes the difference between suffering through the night and finding peace in the darkness. I need to pause here and ask you something important. What time of day does anxiety usually hit you the hardest? Each person feels anxiety uniquely, and sharing this experience can be the first step to understanding it better. I know you may have never talked about this with anyone before. Maybe you think no one would understand, or that your feelings aren't important, but I want you to know that here, in this space, your experience matters deeply. Leave us a comment below completing the sentence. My anxiety usually appears when. Your courage in sharing might be exactly what another person needs to read today to feel less alone. And in upcoming videos, we'll address specifically those moments you share. This is a community of mutual support, where every word of yours is welcomed with respect and understanding. Sometimes the simple act of putting our feelings into words can help us see patterns we hadn't noticed before. Perhaps you'll realize your anxiety peaks at sunset, a phenomenon known as sundowning that affects many older adults. Or maybe you'll notice it's worst when you first wake up in the middle of the night, and the house is completely silent. These insights aren't just helpful for others. They're valuable for your own journey toward more peaceful nights. I've found in my years of researching this topic that people often discover surprising triggers and patterns just by taking a moment to reflect and articulate their experiences. Your comment might also help someone else recognize that what they're experiencing has a name and is shared by others. There's profound comfort in knowing we aren't alone in our struggles, especially with something as isolating as nighttime anxiety. So please, take a moment after this video to share your experience. Your voice matters in this conversation, and your perspective could be the light that helps someone else find their way through the darkness. Now let's explore some practical strategies that geriatric psychiatrists recommend specifically for seniors dealing with nighttime anxiety. These approaches are evidence-based but also realistic, acknowledging the realities of life for those over 70. The first category of strategies involves preparing your body and mind for restful sleep long before bedtime. One of the most powerful approaches is establishing a consistent daily routine. Our bodies thrive on predictability, especially as we try to wake up and go to bed at approximately the same times each day, even on weekends. This helps regulate your circadian rhythm, making it easier to fall asleep and stay asleep. Equally important is thoughtful management of daytime activity. Mild to moderate physical activity during the day has been shown to significantly improve sleep quality for seniors. This doesn't mean strenuous exercise. Gentle walking, chair yoga, tai chi, or water aerobics can all help tire the body appropriately without overtaxing it. However, timing matters. Try to complete any exercise at least 4 hours before bedtime to allow your body temperature and metabolism to return to levels conducive to sleep. Careful attention to what you consume is also crucial. Caffeine has a much longer half-life in older adults, up to 12 hours for some seniors, meaning that morning coffee might still be affecting you at night. Consider eliminating caffeine entirely, or at minimum, restricting it to before noon. Similarly, while alcohol might make you feel drowsy initially, it significantly disrupts sleep architecture, leading to fragmented, poor-quality sleep, and often causing middle-of-the-night awakening metabolize. Many seniors use alcohol as a sleep aid without realizing it's actually contributing to their sleep problems. Hydration plays a tricky but important role in sleep quality. Adequate hydration throughout the day is essential for overall health, but many seniors restrict fluids in the evening to avoid nighttime bathroom trips. A balanced approach is best. Stay well hydrated until about 3 hours before bedtime, then taper off. This helps minimize nocturia without promoting dehydration. Light exposure management is a strategy many geriatric sleep specialists now prescribe as a first-line intervention for sleep disturbances in seniors. Our sleep-wake cycle is powerfully influenced by light, but many older adults don't get sufficient bright light during the day or are exposed to too much artificial light at night. Try to get natural sunlight exposure, preferably in the morning, for at least 30 minutes daily. For those with mobility limitations, even sitting by a sunny window can help. In the evening, begin dimming lights about 2 hours before bedtime to signal to your brain that sleep time is approaching. Equally important is reducing blue light exposure from screens, TVs, computers, tablets, phones in the evening hours, as this wavelength of light specifically suppresses melatonin production. Some seniors find specially designed amber-tinted glasses helpful for evening television view. Creating an optimal sleep environment can make a tremendous difference in sleep quality. Your bedroom should be cool. Around 65–68 degrees Fahrenheit is ideal for most seniors. Quiet, and as dark as safely possible. For those who need some light for safety, consider a motion-activated nightlight with a red or amber bulb, as these wavelengths are less disruptive to melatonin production than white or blue light. Comfortable bedding that accommodates any physical discomfort is essential. This might mean special pillows for arthritic necks, wedge pillows for acid reflux, or breathable materials for those who experience night sweats. Some seniors find weighted blankets helpful for anxiety, but these should be used with caution and professional guidance, particularly for those with respiratory or circulatory issues. Pain management is a critical but often overlooked component of addressing nighttime anxiety in seniors. Uncontrolled pain is one of the most common causes of sleep disruption, and the relationship between pain and anxiety is bidirectional. Each worsens the other. Work with your healthcare provider to develop a comprehensive pain management plan that provides coverage throughout the night. This might include timing longer-acting pain medications to peak during sleep hours, or using topical analgesics before bed. For some seniors, technologies like TENS units or specially designed pressure relief mattresses can help manage nighttime pain without additional medication. Many seniors benefit from gentle stretching routines before bed to release tension that has accumulated during the day, particularly in the neck, shoulders, and lower back. These can be done seated if mobility is limited. Cognitive preparation for sleep is just as important as physical preparation. Many seniors find their minds racing with worries or to-do lists as they try to fall asleep. A helpful practice is to set aside 15 to 20 minutes earlier in the evening, never right before bed, for what psychologists call worry time. During this designated period, write down concerns, unresolved questions, or tasks for the next day. This externalization helps prevent these thoughts from circling in your mind at bedtime. For some seniors, this practice works best when combined with immediately writing down a potential next step or solution for each worry, helping the mind feel that the issue has been handled for now. Relaxation techniques specifically tailored for seniors can be incredibly effective for managing nighttime anxiety. Progressive muscle relaxation, PMR, has strong evidence supporting its effectiveness in older adults, but the traditional approach often needs modification for seniors with physical limitations or pain. A gentler approach involves sequentially focusing attention on different parts of the body, noticing any tension without actively tensing, and then imagining that area softening and warming with each exhale. This modified version is particularly suitable for seniors with arthritis, fibromyalgia, or other pain conditions. Guided imagery tailored to preferences and life experiences can be powerful for seniors. Rather than generic beach scenes, many older adults connect more deeply with imagery that has personal significance, a childhood home, a favorite garden, or a meaningful place from their past. The key is creating a detailed sensory experience that engages multiple senses and feels safe and comforting. Breathwork is perhaps the most accessible tool for nighttime anxiety, requiring no special equipment or significant mobility. The 4-7-8 breathing technique, inhale for 4 counts, hold for 7, exhale for 8, is particularly effective for activating the parasympathetic nervous system, but should be introduced gradually for seniors with respiratory concern. Some find that simply placing a hand on the abdomen and focusing on gentle diaphragmatic breathing is sufficient to calm an anxious mind. For seniors with spiritual or religious backgrounds, prayer or meditation practices that have been meaningful throughout life can take on new significance as tools for managing nighttime anxiety. The familiarity of these practices can bring comfort in the disorienting darkness. Sound therapy offers unique benefits for many seniors experiencing nighttime anxiety. As hearing changes with age, the silence of night can sometimes feel oppressive, or can make tinnitus, ringing in the ears, more noticeable. White noise machines, fans, or specialized apps offering sounds like rainfall, gentle ocean waves, or even the ambient sounds of a household during daytime can provide comforting auditory company during the night. Some seniors find that leaving on a radio at low volume tuned to a talk station provides a sense of human presence that reduces feelings of isolation and vulnerability. Audiobooks or podcasts with timers can serve a similar purpose, giving the mind something neutral to focus on besides anxious thoughts. However, content should be chosen carefully. Calming, relatively monotonous material works best, nothing stimulating or potentially upsetting. Body-based interventions can be particularly effective for anxiety that manifests physically. Self-massage of the hands, feet, or shoulders with a soothing lotion before bed can help release tension and create a nurturing ritual. Applying warmth to areas of tension through heating pads, warm towels, or microwavable wraps can provide both physical and psychological comfort. For seniors with restless leg syndrome, which often worsens at night and can trigger anxiety, specific stretching routines, compression stockings removed at bedtime, or approved medications can help manage this particularly frustrating nighttime condition. Let's explore some specific aspects of nighttime anxiety that are particularly relevant for seniors over 70. One distinct pattern many older adults experience is anticipatory anxiety about sleep itself. After several nights of poor sleep, many seniors begin to dread bedtime, creating a self-fulfilling prophecy where the fear of not sleeping actually prevents sleep. Breaking this cycle requires a counterintuitive approach that geriatric sleep specialists often recommend. If you've been in bed for 20-30 minutes and aren't falling asleep, get up, move to another room, and do something quiet and non-stimulating or dim light until you feel sleepy. This prevents your brain from associating your bed with wakefulness and worry. For some seniors, this might mean keeping a comfortable chair with a soft blanket and a book with non-stimulating content, nothing too exciting or upsetting, in another room specifically for these episodes. Another common pattern involves health-related anxiety that intensifies at night. Physical sensations that might be barely noticed during busy daylight hours can become the focus of intense worry after dark. Many seniors find themselves monitoring their breathing, heartbeat, or pain levels with hypervigilance that actually increases discomfort and anxiety. A helpful strategy for this pattern is scheduled checking, setting specific brief times during the day to check and note any physical symptoms, then reminding yourself at night that you have a system in place and don't need to monitor continuously. Some find it helpful to keep a simple health journal where they note observations during daylight hours, which can provide reassurance at night that concerns have been acknowledged and will be addressed appropriately during waking hours if needed. For many seniors, nighttime anxiety centers around safety concerns, fears of home invasion, fire, medical emergencies, or falls when no help is available. These fears may be more pronounced for those living alone after decades of partnership. Practical measures can significantly reduce these. Ensure doors and windows have secure, easy-to-operate locks. Consider simple security systems with monitoring services if financially feasible. Install smoke and carbon monoxide detectors with fresh batteries. Use a medical alert system for prompt access to help if needed. And optimize the path to the bathroom with nightlights and removal of trip hazard. Often, knowing that practical precautions are in place can significantly reduce safety-related anxiety. Loneliness and existential concerns frequently emerge as dominant themes in nighttime anxiety for those over 70. The quiet of night can amplify feelings of isolation or bring forward deeper questions about meaning, legacy, and mortality. Creating bedtime rituals that provide comfort and perspective can be helpful. Perhaps reviewing photos of loved ones, writing in a gratitude journal, or engaging in spiritual practices that have provided meaning throughout life. Some seniors find that having a journal by the bedside specifically for recording middle-of-the-night thoughts provides an outlet for these reflections when they arise, rather than trying to suppress them. Another challenging pattern involves trauma memory or grief that surfaces at night. Many seniors carry experiences of loss or trauma that may have occurred decades ago that remain unprocessed. The vulnerability of nighttime can bring these memories forward with surprising intensity. For persistent intrusive memory or grief that significantly disrupts sleep, professional support from therapists specializing in geriatric mental health can be invaluable. However, simple self-compassion practices can help in the moment. Acknowledging the memory or feeling with kindness rather than resistance, perhaps placing a hand on your heart and saying, "This is a difficult memory, and it's natural that it still affects me. I'm caring for myself now." Now, let me share what leading geriatric psychiatrists consider the most important revelation about nighttime anxiety in seniors over 70. It is highly treatable, even for those who have struggled with it for decades. This might seem obvious to younger generations raised with greater mental health awareness. But for many seniors who grew up in eras when anxiety was dismissed as nerves or a character weakness, this understanding can be truly transformative. The latest research in geriatric psychiatry has shown that older adults often respond remarkably well to both therapeutic interventions and medication when properly tailored to their specific needs and physiology. In fact, some studies suggest that certain therapeutic approaches, particularly cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, CBTI, may actually have higher success rates in motivated older adults than in younger populations. This makes sense when we consider the wisdom, perspective, and commitment to health that many seniors bring to treatment. What's particularly encouraging is that improvement often begins relatively quickly. Many seniors report noticeable relief from nighttime anxiety within 2 to 4 weeks of beginning appropriate treatment, though full benefits may take several months to develop. Another important revelation is that the root causes of nighttime anxiety in seniors are often different from those in younger adults, requiring different treatment approaches. While anxiety in younger individuals might stem primarily from work stress, relationship challenges, or financial concerns, senior anxiety more commonly relates to health worry, existential questions, loss of independence, or neurochemical changes associated with aging. Recognizing these unique triggers allows for more precisely targeted interventions. Additionally, treating nighttime anxiety often yields improvements in multiple areas beyond sleep, including daytime energy, cognitive function, pain perception, and overall quality of life. Many seniors are surprised to find that addressing their sleep-related anxiety has ripple effects throughout their waking hours, sometimes resolving issues they didn't even recognize were connected to their sleep quality. Perhaps most important is the growing recognition that anxiety is not an inevitable part of aging or a natural consequence of health challenges. For too long, both seniors themselves and sometimes even healthcare providers have normalized sleep disruption and nighttime distress as just part of getting old. This fatalistic view has prevented many seniors from seeking the help that could significantly improve their quality of life. Leading geriatric psychiatrists emphasize that while certain age-related changes to sleep architecture are indeed normal, such as earlier bedtimes and wake times, or slightly less time in deep sleep stages, persistent anxiety that disrupts sleep is never normal aging and always warrants attention. For seniors who have lived with anxiety for so long that it has become their baseline, the possibility of nights characterized by peace rather than pain can seem almost unimaginable. Yet thousands have found their way to more restful nights, even after decades of struggle. The path begins with the recognition that suffering is not inevitable and that effective help is available. For those concerned about medication side effects or interactions, a valid concern given that many seniors take multiple prescriptions, it's worth noting that some of the most effective treatments for nighttime anxiety don't involve medication at all. Cognitive behavioral approaches, mindfulness practices, lifestyle modifications, and targeted relaxation techniques have all shown significant efficacy in reducing nighttime anxiety with minimal risk of adverse effects. There's additional information about nighttime anxiety in seniors that complements what we've discussed so far. Let's explore the complex relationship between physical health conditions common in older adults and nighttime anxiety. Many seniors are surprised to learn that certain medical conditions can directly trigger or worsen anxiety symptoms, particularly at night. Cardiovascular issues, including heart failure, arrhythmias, or coronary artery disease, can cause physiological symptoms that mimic or trigger anxiety, like palpitations, shortness of breath, or chest discomfort. These symptoms often worsen when lying down, creating a direct link to bedtime anxiety. Respiratory conditions such as COPD or sleep apnea can cause nighttime oxygen fluctuations that activate the body's stress response system, creating feelings of panic or dread that have a primarily physiological origin. Endocrine disorders common in older adults, including thyroid dysfunction and diabetes, can cause significant blood sugar or metabolic fluctuations during the night that manifest as anxiety symptoms. For those with Parkinson's disease, neurochemical fluctuations can intensify during certain sleep stages, sometimes triggering anxiety or vivid, disturbing dreams. Even seemingly unrelated conditions like urinary tract infections can present atypically in seniors, sometimes with anxiety as a primary symptom, rather than the more familiar signs seen in younger adults. This complex interplay between physical health and anxiety means that comprehensive assessment is essential. Sometimes treating the underlying physical condition resolves the anxiety without need for specific anxiety interventions. This is why geriatric psychiatrists emphasize the importance of collaboration between mental health providers and primary care physicians when addressing nighttime anxiety in seniors. Medication effects represent another critical area that's often overlooked when evaluating nighttime anxiety in older adults. Many commonly prescribed medications can either directly cause anxiety as a side effect or disrupt sleep architecture in ways that promote anxiety. For example, some bronchodilators used for respiratory conditions can stimulate the central nervous system, Certain antihypertensives, particularly beta blockers, can sometimes cause vivid dreams or nightmares. Some steroids used for inflammatory conditions can cause agitation or insomnia. Even some medications prescribed for memory concerns can occasionally increase nighttime restlessness or vivid dreaming in sensitive individuals. The timing of medication doses can also play a significant role. A diuretic taken too late in the day might increase nighttime urination, while a stimulating medication taken in the afternoon might still be active at bedtime. A thorough medication review by a pharmacist or physician with geriatric expertise can sometimes identify simple adjustments to timing or alternatives with fewer sleep-disrupting properties. Of course, never change or discontinue prescribed medications without medical guidance, as the risks may outweigh the benefits. It's also worth noting that supplements and over-the-counter remedies that many seniors use for sleep can sometimes paradoxically contribute to nighttime anxiety. For example, some herbal sleep aids have stimulating effects in certain individuals, particularly at higher doses. Combination products may contain ingredients that work at cross purposes for sensitive seniors, and the placebo effect works both ways. Anxiety about whether a sleep aid will work can sometimes create enough stress to counteract any beneficial effects. If you identified with what we talked about today, and you're looking for natural ways to calm your mind and live with more peace, our channel is a safe space created especially for you. Each week we share simple and effective techniques that have helped thousands of people recover their inner peace. We're together on this journey, and every step you take toward wellness matters. Click the subscribe button below and activate notifications to receive our videos as soon as they're published. Remember, you don't need to face anxiety alone, and small changes can make a big difference in your quality of life. Our approach is always compassionate and practical. We understand the unique challenges that come with experiencing anxiety in your senior years. The strategies we share are specifically selected to be accessible regardless of mobility limitations, budget constraints, or living situations. Whether you're living independently, with family, or in a care community, you'll find relevant, implementable ideas in each of our videos. We particularly focus on non-pharmaceutical approaches that complement medical care, giving you tools you can use immediately without waiting for appointments or prescription. Many of our subscribers tell us that simply knowing new videos are coming gives them hope and something positive to anticipate. Our community in the comments section has become a source of wisdom and encouragement, where people from around the world share their experiences and what has helped them find calm during difficult nights. You might be surprised how much it helps to discover you're not alone in your experiences. The insights we share come from both current research and timeless wisdom, blending modern understanding of neuroscience with compassionate approaches to aging well. We collaborate with geriatric specialists, sleep experts, and most importantly, we listen to seniors themselves about what actually works in real life, not just in research setting. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for spending this time with me today exploring such an important topic. Your engagement with this content means that more people will discover it and find the help they need during difficult nights. If you found value in what we discussed, please consider giving this video a thumbs up. It helps others find this information when most. Your engagement truly makes a difference in extending our reach to those who might be suffering in silence. I also want to invite you to share this video with anyone in your life who might benefit from understanding nighttime anxiety better. Perhaps an older family member, a caregiver, or even a healthcare provider who works with seniors. Sometimes having information explained in accessible, compassionate terms can open the door to conversations that lead to better care and support. The comment section below is a space for shared wisdom and community. I read every comment and do my best to respond to questions. Many viewers have told me they've found valuable insights not just from the videos themselves, but from the experiences shared by others in the comments. If you have strategies that have worked for you or someone you care for, consider sharing them below to help others on their journey. Remember that while we provide educational content, this video isn't a replacement for personalized medical advice. If nighttime anxiety is significantly affecting quality of life for or someone you love, please encourage reaching out to a healthcare provider, preferably one with experience in geriatric. Every person deserves peaceful nights and supportive care, regardless of age. I wish you restful nights and peaceful days ahead. Remember that the darkness of night eventually gives way to dawn, and similarly, periods of struggle in our lives are not permanent. With understanding, appropriate support, and compassionate self-care, more restful nights are possible. You've already taken an important step today by seeking knowledge and understanding about these experiences. That shows courage and a commitment to your well-being, or the well-being of someone you care about. Know that you're not alone on this journey. Millions of seniors have walked this path and found their way to more peaceful nights, and so can you. Until next time, take gentle care of yourself, be patient with the process of healing, and hold on to hope. Better nights are possible, and you deserve them. I look forward to continuing this journey with you in our next video, where we'll explore more specific strategies for particular types of nighttime anxiety. Until then, may you find moments of peace and rest, even if they come in small increments at first. Each restful moment is a victory worth celebrating and a step toward more comprehensive. Thank you again for your time and attention. To sleep well and be well.